Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ali Mehdaoui here, your strategic partner with Mehdaoui Enterprise, with another one for you. And I'm super excited because I got a powerful one for you. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. It is that midday of the week that you need to make something dramatic to either catch up or keep that momentum going. So I'm here to hit you up a little bit with some mindset that I know for a fact is going to absolutely help you out. So here are the questions of the day. Is it hard to build your business? Do you feel like it's all going wrong, right? You know, many people struggle with that mindset. And I know I have many times where I'm like, damn it, everything is just going wrong. Nothing is working out. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Orlando. Hey, everybody. I see you. So here's the thing. You bet your butt it is hard to build a business. So if you are telling yourself, oh, poor me, everything is going wrong, guess what? You are robbing yourself. You have to be driving your business with the right mindset. So let me help you out. And before I do, just so you know, the content that I'm about to share with you right now is in reference to a movie called The Founder. If you haven't watched it, it's on iTunes. I don't think it's in Netflix just yet, or you can just go into whatever those websites, YouTube on Fire or Potluck or whatever. It's probably available in there. But let me tell you about that movie. It was about Ray Kroc and his empire of McDonald's. Now let me just be clear. The man was brutal. I mean, he's done so many heartless things, legal but heartless things, that he cut so many people out of his life and then so many things that I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a summary and relevance to how hard it is to succeed. But it also teaches you about the entrepreneurial route and prepares you. So very first thing, you need to have these two mindsets. The first mindset is you have to comprehend, understand, and accept that the struggle always comes before massive success. The struggle always comes before massive success. It is part of the journey. If you think in your right mind that you have to automatically succeed, I am telling you, you won't. Now, sometimes you have to adjust certain things. You have to evaluate your business plan. You have to evaluate your business lines, who you're working with and whatnot, right? But just keep in mind, unless you struggle, you will never, ever succeed. I've experienced it my whole entire business career. The second mindset that I always talk about is TFAR, TFAR. Remember this acronym. Thoughts become feelings. Feelings become actions. Actions give you results, and those results give you more thoughts, right? They make you either feel good or bad depending on the results, but the results only will happen depending on the actions. The actions will only happen depending on how you feel about yourself, about your business, about your attitude, your mindset, and then all that gets generated from your thoughts. So be very, very aware of what you're putting into your mind. So let's talk about what Ray Kroc has done and what led him to now become a mogul forever as an example of business. Now, whether you like McDonald's or not, I don't eat it. So just to be clear, I'm not promoting McDonald's in here. I refuse to eat it. But the entrepreneurial education from it teaches you a whole lot. So let's talk about it. So the very first thing is that, the founder, Ray Kroc, right, when he came to the McDonald brothers and he saw this operation, and they shared with him that, we tried to launch multiple locations over the years, 3 years. They had 3 major launches and they failed miserably. As great as that was, for 3 years, could you imagine? McDonald's could not launch their business for 3 years. And they tried and tried and tried. As great of one business that they had was perfect, flawless, but they could not expand it out. So they had certain things that they were missing. And then he went ahead and he says, increase the demand, the supply, and the demand will appear. Now, the McDonald's brother looked at it differently. Why would I spend more, right, than I need to? We have a happy, good business. We have our own style of doing things. We don't want to expand. And he kept on punching and punching and punching. Hey, you have to expand. You have to franchise. You have to He kept going. And by the way, he only went to them because he wanted to sell his milkshake machine. That's what he was selling when he encountered this concept of McDonald's. One of the things that he was doing all the time is he was reading. If you watch the movie, throughout the whole movie, he had one book that was in the car or in his room or in his office that was also always with him. That book was called The Power of the Positive. And anytime there was a little scene of him thinking out loud, he will turn back and look at that book. It's called The Power of the Positive. And then, a man, and this is a quote from there, a man is what he thinks about all day long. He read that and they actually zoomed in from the book, and it says a man, right? So the bottom line is, what are you thinking about all day long? What are you telling yourself? What are you convincing yourself? Listen, the physical, the circumstance that you are in is temporary. As a matter of fact, it's in the past. See, watch. Whatever I just said was a second ago. It is no longer relevant. I can recreate immediately and instantly. So the McDonald's brothers had this imaginary staff practice where they literally used to take out all their team outside and imagine and draw in the floor the kitchen design itself. And they would literally act as if they're making burgers and they're moving around each other. So they worked on that perfection itself. Guess what? He saw that. He said duplication. We have to create duplication, something that recreates itself. That's how it's going to work out. Then they went ahead. And again, 3 years later, after trying and failing, yes, the McDonald's, that the multi-billion dollar, or almost $1 trillion industry that it has created, they struggled and failed for 3 years. And here I am saying, oh, my business is not growing. This is horrible. This does not work. Come on, man. Clean up your head, right? So they became a 3 years overnight success. Just like I tell people all the time, like Ali, oh my God, you blew up out of nowhere. Yep, out of nowhere. It only took me 9 years of struggle to blow up out of nowhere. Clean up your head. Make sure your mindset is right. So Ray went back to his wife to share that mindset. Like, baby, I just saw the greatest idea ever. This concept of making a burger under 30 seconds and order soda, and you go up to the window and he's sharing all this enthusiasm. And I really, really want to work with these guys. We need some finances. We got to franchise this thing. We got to build this thing. And what ends up happening? The wife just shuts him down. The wife just says to him, again, another one. Honey, you've been in this business, and you sold this thing, and now it's another one of your things that you want to get involved with. Does that sound familiar? Because I know I've gone through that, because my wife at first didn't see eye to eye with my business vision. Now she's supportive over the last few years. I mean, without her, nothing will be possible in this business that we've built. But again, does that sound familiar? Have you, and drop a number 1, if you had a family member, a spouse, or a friend telling you another one of another business that you want to build? Yes, Ray Kroc went through that as well. So guess what? He went ahead and started talking to her and asking her and literally, telling her, hey, I need your help. I need your support. She convinced him to drop it. She just convinced him to drop it. Hey, he said, you know what, honey, we'll go to the club. We'll hang out with the friends and do the usual. And then everywhere he's gone, someone will trigger him to talk about business. And then he became annoying in the table all the time. Hey, I got this idea. I'd like for you to take a look at it. And maybe this and maybe that. Where eventually his wife just kind of gave up. And she said, you know what, do whatever you want. He got mad. He felt like he was mediocre. He went back to sell the milkshake machine and everybody shutting him down and not treating him. He wasn't happy. There was no purpose within him. So he went ahead and he said, you know what? Screw it. So he did what every crazy husband would do without, and I know I kind of did that at one point, not to that extreme, but he went ahead and he mortgaged their home to get a loan out to go forward to open their very first franchise. As an example, he went all out. He burned the boats. He put everything that it was, because he was mad. He said, enough is enough. I am going to make this decision and I am going to go for it. So he went and he told the brothers about building a culture. He said, we need a culture. We need something attractive that makes us branded, that makes us unique, that makes us stand out. Yeah, you got a great concept, but no one knows about it. You need to do something completely different. So the idea of the arch came about. He said, we need to have this arch everywhere, that it stands out, that from a mile away, if somebody sees the arch, sees the M, they say, we need to go to that place because of branding. He said, we are going to be known as one thing: your family place. He said, your family is going to want to come in here. It has to represent family. So what is your culture? How does your brand stand out? What are you doing to make it an attractive business model for yourself? Not your product or your service that you're selling. I'm talking about you. How are you branding yourself? How are you attracting people where they see a logo? Oh, flip screen, a logo, right? And then they know what it actually stands for, right? So you have to keep that in mind 100% of the time, because that's what Ray focused on. That was one of his main things. So he went ahead and he needed funding to get those golden arches going, and no one would fund him. He tried every single thing, and then he said, I need to be right just one time. You know, that's when his wife found out that he mortgaged the house, and she gave him a hard time. She gave him grief. She fought him, argued with him. He said, honey, I need to be right just one time. She said, you've done this many times. You're taking time away from us. You are over 50 years old. We don't even have kids. All things are going wrong for us. Guess what? Does that sound familiar? And he said to her, I just need to be right one time. Then he said, all right, I'm going to personally make this thing happen. So he went and took that mortgage, put it on the actual location. He personally showed up first. He organized, he sold, he cleaned up. He did not leave until he personally locked the shop, until he personally took the last piece of garbage, until he personally shook hands with every single individual. Say, thank you for coming. This is family. That's what he wanted it to stand for. Then he told the friends and the family, hey, you should get involved. There is some great money. There's some great opportunity in here for you. Does that sound familiar? And some laughed at him. A few of them he really convinced hard, but didn't really take him seriously. They started doing other things. They started bringing in subs. They started doing sliced ham and cheese in McDonald's. So he shows up as a surprise inspection and he goes nuts. He said, I said no smoking on the parking lot. I said no this, no that. I said exactly 3 pumps of ketchup and 1 pump of mustard. What is going? So he was going nuts. Does that sound familiar? Does that something that you're going through in your business with your team, and you think oh my God, no one is listening to me. No one is doing the right thing. No one is duplicating this process. Guess what? You need to be right one time. Stay with me. This gets crazier and crazier. So his very first franchisees were horrible. They were not coachable. They would not do the system that he was trying to teach them. And though it was somewhat profitable, just enough to keep him in business, it did not make a big impact. It didn't give them that momentum that they wanted to have. So guess what? He started going to every single average individual. He said, instead of me looking for the person with the money, I'm going to look for the person with the family mindset. See, he understood his demographic. How many of you are talking to everybody about your product or service or business without realizing they might not be the right people for you? In other words, you may have the best steak in the world, but if you're talking to a vegan, it doesn't matter. So that's why you have to understand your culture and build a demographic around it. So he started going to places where he knew he could find family people. He started going to churches that he literally was part of the community and just never took the opportunity to get to know people. He started going to military outing where he sit down and he sees a husband and wife who want to build a family, and then he literally found the people who were coachable over the people who had money and networks. Does that sound familiar, right? I mean, it is incredible. I highly recommend you watch this movie, The Founder. So he started doing home meetings. He started telling the friends, hey, why don't you invite the rest of your friends and let me talk to them, because if you refer them to me, you may get a little cut out of that franchise as well. And then he started doing weekly seminars in different hotels, in different cities, in different regional events. Does that sound familiar? I mean, are you kidding me? This is incredible. I mean, the mindset is powerful beyond beliefs. You know, he wasn't selling the burger though. He was selling the vision. He was talking about how about you being responsible of bringing the community together. That's what he was selling. How about bringing the family together? How about giving a family purpose again? That's what he was selling. How about becoming very profitable from the best burger in the world? That's not what he was selling. So again, it's incredible to see that happen. And so he expanded, but here's the interesting thing. He did not have enough ROI. He did not have enough percentage to make profits for himself. Now, because the McDonald's brothers were still overriding him, he went and he said, hey, I need better percentages. I need better budgets. I need this. I need that. He started to kind of look for ways that he can be creative to make the business model better. And they fought him. They said, no, we're happy with what we've built in here. We don't want to do anything different. That's not within our vision. Guess what? He got frustrated. Now, guess what? My own people that are overriding me, that I'm making them money, are blocking me from that concept of growing, of going bigger and better. Then he found ways that he can cut the cost itself. He found the powder, shakes and powder ice cream that he said, okay, if I switch to this, I don't have to have coolers anymore. It costs the cost of electricity by 40%, and all these different things that he was so creative about. And they fought him, and they fought him. He came back. He said, hey, if we drop the franchise fee and increase the percentage, we'll have more people coming in for better. They said, no, we don't want to do that. And then the more that frustration was coming up, he ended up doing what most people wouldn't think of, but the crazier one would. He was brutal. He went ahead and created a separate entity. Instead of the McDonald's business restaurant, he created his own McDonald's real estate. That's what he called it, McDonald's real estate. You thought he was in the burger business? He had a lawyer come to him. He said, you think you're in the burger business? You're in the real estate business. Instead of selling the name and getting a little bit of money back, you need to control and own the property. That has to be yours. So he started selling the property. That's insane when you understand that revelation. When they told him, you are in the distribution business, you gotta own land and get paid on it, from rent to everything that goes on, and you are 100% in charge. You control the standards that the team has to be going with. And then the magic started happening. But guess what? It was a separate entity. Clearly, the McDonald's brothers were not happy about that. They said, hey, it's our business. What are you doing? Why are you going around us? He said, you do not see what I'm seeing. You are blocking the potential. So guess what? You're still going to get your override from every burger and every French fry and soda that we're selling, but this is a separate business now that I own. It has nothing to do with you. Pretty brutal. I mean, if you think about it, pretty brutal, but he did it because they were putting a ceiling on his head. He knew his potential was much bigger than anything that anyone put before him. He adjusted his business. So they went ahead and they wanted to sue him. He said, fine, come at me. He ended up settling $2.7 million to each brother. Back in 1960, that was a whole lot of money. By the way, he told them you get to still own your own franchise, that one little store in Fresno, California. It still exists, by the way. So guess what? How big is McDonald's now? Pretty crazy, right? The moral of the story is this. Business is brutal. It will never be easy. Business requires hard decisions. Business requires to do the non-traditional things. Now remember, keep your morals in check. Don't go crazy and start, robbing people and stealing concepts. I'm not saying or promoting that, but I'm just telling you that the people who have changed the course of the world, whether it's in business, whether spiritual life, whether leadership, whether civil rights movements, whether a peaceful movement, whatever it is, they did the crazy of all crazy. They went nuts. Muhammad Ali, think about it, that boxer, right? That the world is forever grateful for, that he changed the face of boxing. I mean, he's the people's champ. Guess what? They said, you have to go to Vietnam. He said, I'd rather give up my championship, take all my money away, and put me in jail, because I'm not fighting for a war that does not have to do anything with the people that I am part of. I'm not going to kill strangers that had nothing to do with me. Guess what? It was pretty crazy nuts. People thought he was crazy, but it made him put a point across. Take care of my people. You want me to go fight for a war that you're not taking care of my people? My point is not to get too deep on you and too, dramatic on you. Sometimes you have to do the craziest things possible. Ray Kroc said, there will be a great restaurant, but it's not the food. It's McDonald's. Ray Kroc was 52 years old. 52 years old, selling milkshake machines, behind in all his bills. He was behind in his mortgage. He was behind. Collectors were calling his office all the time. He gave his success credit to one thing and one thing only: persistence. He said, I never give up. I never give up. Now, he may have changed his business lines. He may have went from one product to a service to another company, or whatever the case may be, but he persisted because he had that vision, that thought, that I will make it. Now, again, if you watch the movie, like I said, he was brutal. I mean, he cut out everyone that didn't see his vision. He was sitting at the table having dinner with his wife, and not just like that. He turned around, he said, I want a divorce. And she looked at him, he said, you're negative. Just like that. Just because she didn't have the power of the positive. I mean, that's pretty hardcore. I mean, I don't care how great business. I would never do that. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, he was that extreme to go ahead and do whatever he needed to do. Only 6 people, this is the moral of the story if you are especially in network marketing. Only 6 people who believed in Ray, his assistants, his lawyer, the people who were, in the stores, the early franchises, only 6 people who helped Ray Kroc while he was under financially. When he said, I can't pay you, I can't take care of you. And they said, no worries, we'll stick it out with you. We'll stick it out with you while he was going through the mud, right? And they stuck it out with him. Guess what? They have become small share owners in a multi-billion-dollar net worth company. Some people are not going to believe in your vision. Some people are not going to see eye to eye with what you are seeing. And guess what? There are some people that I didn't understand their vision and I decided to move on to something else. But you got to be unique. You got to look at what's important to you. You got to look at what that vision, that moral, that thing that you want to make happen, what you want your legacy to be around or about. Don't give it up. Be persistent. And remember, you must struggle before you succeed, and the thought that you have in your mind will give you the feeling that makes your body operate. That's why motivational speakers always say, imagine if you could become successful, and you go in this thought of imagination. That imagination gives you a feeling. You start feeling good, goosebumps, scared, teary, whatever that emotion is. You walk out of that convention center or that banquet hall or seminar feeling excited. That's the feeling. The feeling of excitement gives you action. You walk out or you're driving in your car, like, I'm going to make this happen. The next 90 days are the best 90 days ever, because the feeling gave you the action. And that activity or those actions will give you the results. So clean up your head. Get your stinking thinking out of the way and make sure that you are non-negotiable about your success. You have what it takes. I don't care what anybody tells you. Believe in you, because no one will believe in you more than you do. Be positive. Stop with the rants on social media. Let me tell you something that Les Brown talks about all the time. Your problems, if you're talking about them publicly, 90% don't care, and the other 10 are glad it's you and not them. Oh, they took my car. Oh, I am behind on my mortgage. Oh, I am this, I am that. They can care less. As a matter of fact, you're entertainment to them. How does that make you feel? So let's go. Get your head right. Clean up your mindset. Share this video. Give people some positivity, some happiness, and some joy. And make sure that you register for our very next webinar that we're doing Tuesday. It is complimentary. Workwithali.com/prospect. It's an hour and a half of content you will never get anywhere else. And it is very, very productive, because we've built a network of 9 countries with this program that I will be sharing with you on Tuesday. So looking forward to all the love, the passion, the attention, the happiness, the joy. Spread the love. Let everybody know that we are happy people. We are positive, and we never quit because we are persistent. Much love to you all, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, everybody.